Well, it's already day 3 of my hunt. I've been out here a couple different properties, kind of all over the state, honestly. This is a state that I've never hunted before until this year. I've heard really good things about it and decided to come out this year and see what all the hype is about. So I've only seen 4 bucks, quite a few does, probably 30, 35 does and fawns every morning and evening on all these different spots. So a lot of does and fawns, but just very, very few bucks. The biggest buck I've seen so far, I'm actually kind of sneaking up on to get a closer look at now. I'm certain he's not a shooter, but he's like I said, the biggest buck I've seen so far in the trip. So I'm just gonna get a little bit closer and see what he's all about. Most likely give him the pass, like I said, and then move on to a river bottom down below and see what that's all about. I saw a fairly decent buck down there, a whitetail down there yesterday evening, and a whole bunch of does. So I'm gonna probably commit the rest of my day to that river bottom and just see what's down there. I snuck up to about 200 yards of that mule deer and saw that he was exactly the same size as I thought he was, not a shooter, so kind of left him alone and snuck down in the river bottom. And I've been in here for a couple hours now, just pretty much still hunting. I've seen 6 deer so far, 1 little buck and 5 does, so evening's coming pretty quickly. It's about 5:15, so I've got about an hour and a half of light, and I'm just gonna keep still hunting the river toward this thick patch of trees where I saw the deer come out of last night. Backpacking in for probably about 2 days. I've just got 2 days of food and water, but brand new spot. Looks good on a map. Already saw a deer walking in. Let's see what I find. Well, it is now day 5. It's Tuesday. I haven't showed much footage lately because I really haven't seen much. I saw about 20 deer yesterday. 1 really small mule deer, the rest were does and fawns. I glassed some really good looking stuff, rough country. Had some cedar trees in it, a lot of cuts from the bed, and just didn't come up with much. So I moved spots in a new area today and hiked about 2 miles in the dark this morning, got up on a glassing hill and glassed 360 all the way around for a couple hours. I found 3 different bucks in a group that I'm actually getting a closer look at now. I'm pretty sure none of them are shooters, but I'm just gonna go that way anyway. Planning to glass from over where those deer are. They're about probably another 1.5 miles in from the truck, so about 3.5 from the truck. And I'm hoping to make it about 4 miles from the truck this evening, glass there this evening, and depending when I find camp there, and glass there tomorrow morning as well. Hopefully I find a big one. Made it over here. I'm probably 500 yards from the hill where I saw the bucks last, and they're not bedded down where I saw them bedded, which isn't surprising at all. They're bedded in the sun, and it's supposed to be 90 degrees out today, so it's only 9:30 in the morning, but it's already getting pretty hot, so I'm guessing they went down in the shade. All 3 of them were just on the other side of the hill, down in some cuts. There's a bunch of cuts and some shaded spots, and probably could have got a shot at 2 of them at about 45 yards, but just not quite what I'm looking for. Decent frame, nothing crazy, and then the one with the biggest frame was a 3x2. It looked like a mature deer, but not a lot going on. I think 2 of those might have been mature deer, and then the other one was just a smaller, probably 2-year-old or something like that. But pretty cool to see and pretty cool to be in a range of them. That's kind of the most excitement I've had all trip, and it's already day 5. Well, it is now the morning of day 7. I haven't done an interview in a couple days. It's been really windy and just haven't had a ton of action. So evening of day 6, which would have been last night, and I hit up a new spot I've never been to and saw quite a few deer, about 30 deer, 1 small mule deer buck and 1 small whitetail buck. The muley buck actually had a bunch of baling twine or something all wrapped up in his antlers. It was kind of unique. I've seen pictures of that a lot, but I've actually never seen that in person, so that was kind of cool. Then day 7, like I said, that's today. I drove over to another new spot. I don't know how many spots I've been to now, probably 8 or 9 different properties basically. Glassed up on this hill this morning, had the best morning so far for sure. Saw 35 deer, 8 different bucks, which is way more than I've ever seen in a morning on this whole trip. And one pretty nice buck, the biggest buck I've ever seen this whole trip. He was with 5 other bucks on private that I don't have permission on. I'm just hunting public land, and he was on private and ended up betting on private. But he's a pretty nice buck. He has a huge frame, pretty wide outside his ears, pretty good tine length. Looked like he had a pretty big body, looked like he was mature for sure, but just not very high score wise, and not a big deer necessarily. And he ended up betting on the private land about 700 yards from the public. And I have 3 more mornings, 3 more evenings too. So 3 more days left, hopefully find a giant. Well, this is my sleeping setup that I've been using on this trip and on a lot of trips with nice weather. I just got 3-inch foam pad, nice sleeping bag there. It's like I think it's a 0 degree, just kind of a normal sleeping bag. Pretty nice and comfortable, pretty nice and warm actually. Bring a big pillow because I like having a big pillow instead of a small tiny camp pillow. And I just roll that pad up back there and sleep in the bed of my truck. Just like that, I've got all my stuff on the right side here. Cooler, camping bag, Target obviously, that's my camo tote. That has all my essentials in it for vehicle repairs and breakdowns and flat tires and anything you can really think of on the road. I've used this stuff in that a lot. Another cooler, bow case, chair. So that's what I've been doing, and it is extremely comfortable, and I sleep actually really good in it, like better than I do at home a lot of times. So that's pretty awesome. The weather has been phenomenal. That's my setup. Going to get a couple hours of sleep, get up at 3:30 and go hike for a long time. It's about 3:40 in the morning, just got up, batteries are charged, had those charging last night, and got my pack already. I always pack assuming I'm gonna find a buck and be on a stalk the entire day and be out until dark or after dark. So I always bring more than enough food and water for the entire day, even if I'm not going very far and even if I don't think I'm gonna see anything, because I always want to be prepared. So let's get back there and start hiking. Just spotted 6 more bucks, and they're the exact same 6 that I saw with the bigger one the other day. So I've seen 13 bucks today, which is pretty nuts. They're on private land, same private that I saw them on, but they're only like 15-20 yards from the public fence, and I think eventually they're going to work their way into public. So I have a pretty good route to get at least close to them, and it's kind of just a Hail Mary. Kind of gotta do what I gotta do. I don't have much time left at all, but I think there's a chance I could at least get within a couple hundred yards and hopefully even closer. Well, I really tried. I got to like 100, 120 yards of those bucks, and the wind switched. As you can tell, it's dark out. I just got done with the stalk like 5 minutes ago, so I was down to 2 to 3 minutes of shooting light anyway. But man, I just got
I got closer than I thought I was going to. They jumped onto the public, which I thought they would. They did exactly that, and just couldn't get close enough. I was crawling, belly crawling into completely flat, wide open, and they kind of noticed me. One buck kind of saw me, and then the wind switched and they all just took off. So close. That's basically my first stalk. If you call that a stalk, that's my first stalk. It's pretty exciting nonetheless.
Well, it's day 10. This is the last day, last morning I have to hunt, and I am putting on completely soaked clothes from last night. Nothing dried out whatsoever, so boots are completely soaked all the way through. Pants are soaked, shirts soaked, everything. But I'm gonna go hunting again, so it's gonna be fun. I just spotted 4 bucks. They're not too far from where I was last night, heading back to the south where they usually bed, and I'm pretty sure they're the same ones. These 4 look pretty nice, and I don't know if the big one's with them or not, but I'm gonna probably just make a move, get down on that fence line, and hope to cut them off and hope they come onto public before they go bed. I did end up seeing those 11 bucks this morning, actually 12 bucks this morning. The one at very first light, I could barely see him, but I could tell for sure he was a really nice buck, and I'm pretty sure he was the big one. He was already on the private land when I saw him, and it looked like he went down in some cuts where I've been seeing him bed, so I'm assuming he just stayed in there and bedded down, and I never saw him again. So got to explore a lot of new places, saw a lot of the state that I haven't been to before, which is pretty awesome. I've seen more incredible views on this hunt than any other mule deer hunt in the past, and it's just pretty awesome to explore new country. Although I didn't find quite what I was hoping to find, I saw 36 bucks total in 10 full days of hunting, which isn't too bad, but I was expecting a few more. There are just a lot of spots I hit that I only saw 1 small buck, 2 small bucks in a couple days of hunting. Just had a hard time finding any mature bucks or any nice bucks in general, but the spot I'm at now is by far the best, and if I ever come back to this area, I'll definitely hit this spot. This is my first time hunting out here, and I had a blast, learned a lot. 10 days on the road, solo, sleeping in the back of my truck, and it was a lot of fun. I'm thankful to be a bow hunter and grateful for all the adventures I've got to experience.